David Shaw here with another off-the-record story. If you want to learn more about Washington, D.C., come visit my site, offtherecordtours.com. Let's go. As strange as it seems and as wrong as it is, there are only 3 outdoor sculptures of women in Washington, D.C., and I'm visiting one of them today. It's Eleanor Roosevelt at the Franklin Roosevelt Memorial. Eleanor is Franklin's wife and 5th cousin. Creepy, I know, but it's okay. Eleanor Roosevelt is a fascinating person on so many levels. But today I want to focus on how she transforms the role of First Lady from hostess to statesperson. Since Franklin is paralyzed, Eleanor is his eyes and ears. FDR knows Eleanor will always bring him the truth that others might not or would rather sugarcoat. During the Depression, she heads to the skies. She's the first lady to cross the country by air, seeing how New Deal programs are working or not. After Pearl Harbor is bombed, the first official America hears from is Eleanor. She already had a radio address scheduled for that night. Franklin's famous Day of Infamy speech won't be until the next day. But just hours after the attack, she acknowledges the fear families across the country face. And she knows the fear firsthand as one of her sons is stationed on a Navy ship somewhere in the Pacific. During the war, Eleanor takes to the skies again, visiting troops all over the world. She had a regular newspaper column. Her My Day column ran 6 days a week from 1936 to 1962. In it, she discussed all sorts of issues: civil rights, women's rights, prohibition, New Deal programs, the World War II home front, and anything else that struck her interest as she traveled around the world. She is also the First Lady to hold a weekly press conference held in the White House Red Room. They were open only to women reporters. She said that, quote, unless women reporters could find something new to write about, the chances were that some of them would lose their jobs in a very short time, end quote. Eleanor held 348 of them in 12 years. She avoided politics, leaving that to Franklin, and one of the big scoops she provided was that beer would be served again at the White House as soon as Prohibition was over. Since no newspaper or press service could afford to ignore these press conferences, they greatly enhanced the status of the women reporters who covered them. Eleanor's last White House press conference occurred a few hours before FDR died. Just before it ended, she discussed an organizational meeting to be held in San Francisco to form the United Nations. By the year's end, FDR's successor, Harry Truman, appointed Eleanor as a United States representative to the first UN meeting. There, she chairs the committee that creates the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. This is a foundational document in the history of human and civil rights, one that is very much alive today. It's the first time when the world agrees that there are basic rights everyone has, regardless of nationality, where they live, gender, national or ethnic origin, color, religion, or language. The Declaration considered a milestone for what's called its universalist language, which makes no reference to a particular culture, political system, or religion. Think about what Eleanor had to do here. She had to get the Americans, the Soviets, the French, and all the other UN nations to agree to these 30 points.
We stand today at the threshold of a great event, both in the life of the United Nations and in the life of mankind.
And when it came time to vote, no country opposed it. Eleanor was also a kingmaker in Democratic politics. Anyone who wanted the Democratic nomination for the presidency had to go through her. She dies in 1962 at age 78. President John F. Kennedy ordered all United States flags lowered to half-staff throughout the world. in tribute to this remarkable woman. Well, I hope you enjoyed that off-the-record story. If you want to learn more about Washington, D.C., things seen and unseen, arrange your tour of your nation's capital at offtherecordtours.com. Until then, I'm David Shaw.